Hello and welcome back to the channel. Let's start with a question. Can you manage Scope 3 emissions using spreadsheets? The answer is yes. Almost every organization starts there. Excel is familiar, it's flexible, and it's a perfectly reasonable way to build your first Scope 3 inventory. But what happens once your program grows? Once you have hundreds of suppliers, thousands of products, multiple reporting cycles, and data coming from procurement, finance, and suppliers all at once, that's where spreadsheets start to reach their limits. In today's video, we're going to compare spreadsheet-based Scope 3 management with managing real supplier data. We'll look at where spreadsheets work well, where they create problems, and how organizations build a more scalable process over time. Let's get into it. First of all, there's nothing wrong with using spreadsheets. They're available to everyone, they don't require any new software, and they let sustainability teams start measuring emissions quickly. Most first-year Scope 3 inventories are built from some combination of Excel exports from finance, procurement reports, and emissions factors, and that's completely normal. The problem isn't using spreadsheets. It's expecting them to support a program that gets more complex every year. Imagine your organization has 50 suppliers. Keeping track of their responses in Excel isn't too difficult. Now imagine 500 or 2,000. Suddenly you're managing different spreadsheet versions, email attachments, supplier questionnaires, updated emissions factors, multiple reporting years, and several people editing the same files. Very quickly, the spreadsheet stops being the source of truth. It becomes another place where information can get lost. Here's something that's often misunderstood. The biggest problem isn't Excel itself. It's that spreadsheets aren't designed to manage relationships. Scope 3 isn't just about numbers, it's about suppliers. Who has responded? Who still needs a reminder? Which supplier updated their emissions this month? Which product footprint has been verified? Which supplier has a science-based target? Those questions aren't easy to answer when the information is spread across dozens of files and email threads. Compare that with a more mature approach. Instead of manually copying information into spreadsheets, supplier information is collected in a structured way. Each supplier has a single record. Their emissions data is updated over time. Supporting documents stay connected to the supplier. Previous reporting years remain available. Validation happens before calculations begin. Instead of chasing files, you're managing information. Something interesting happens once supplier data becomes easier to manage. The conversation changes. Instead of asking which spreadsheet has the latest numbers, teams start asking which suppliers still haven't responded, which suppliers have reduced their emissions, and where procurement should focus next. It stops being about finding data. It becomes about using it. If you've ever worked with large Scope 3 spreadsheets, you'll probably recognize this. Version final 2, version final. Everyone laughs because we've all seen it, but behind the joke is a real problem. When multiple people edit the same files, it's difficult to know which numbers are current, which assumptions have changed, or who made the changes. That creates unnecessary risk during reporting. Another difference is that mature Scope 3 programs don't collect the same information every year, they improve it. In year 1, you might rely mostly on spend data. In year 2, some suppliers start providing emissions information. In year 3, more suppliers share product carbon footprints. The quality of the inventory improves naturally over time, but that journey is much harder to manage when historical information is scattered across multiple spreadsheets. So does this mean you should stop using Excel? Not necessarily. Spreadsheets still have a place. They're great for analysis, quick calculations, scenario modeling, and checking results. They just become far less effective as the main system for collecting, managing, and maintaining supplier emissions data. Think of Excel as a tool, not the foundation of your Scope 3 program. The organizations with the strongest Scope 3 programs don't spend all year moving data between spreadsheets. Instead, they centralize supplier information, standardize data collection, keep historical records together, validate data before calculations, and build a process that gets easier every reporting cycle. The focus shifts from maintaining spreadsheets to improving supplier relationships and reducing emissions. So let's recap. Spreadsheets aren't the enemy. For many organizations, they're the right place to start. But as supplier engagement grows, spreadsheets become increasingly difficult to manage. Real supplier data changes that. Instead of chasing files, you manage suppliers. Instead of searching for the latest spreadsheet, you have one source of truth. And instead of spending your time organizing information, you spend more time understanding emissions and deciding where to reduce them. Better Scope 3 data management isn't about replacing Excel, it's about building a process that scales as your supplier engagement program grows. I'd love to hear how your organization manages Scope 3 data today. Are you still using spreadsheets, or have you moved to a more structured supplier data process? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this useful, give it a like and subscribe for more practical guides on Scope 3 reporting, supplier engagement, and corporate decarbonization. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.